Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, we have stepped up the situation. I am so happy and so honored to be here. I wanted to make this live stream show a little more, you know what I mean, exquisite. I appreciate all of you guys being here. This topic today has been a long time coming. I feel like since I turned the magical age of 50 last year, I have been going through so many different energetic shifts. And I want to share this with you because, turning a whole another century, nevertheless half, right? Going through the next phases of life, turning 50. And what does that look like? What does that look like for us? What can it look like? What does it have to look like? It is not too late. It's not over because you are past midlife, right? And this has been a touchy topic for me because I really felt a little lost after I turned 50. I'm not going to lie. Once I turned 50, I was really excited. Obviously, it's such a blessing to see, um, to turn any age, right? Because that means you're alive. And I'm grateful for that. But in saying that, with all the media, with all the social media and how it could tend to make you feel like, okay, you're over the hill, or um, like what's next? I raised my son. I have retired from a physical job, and it left me feeling like, I don't know, I just didn't know what and how to place the feelings that I was feeling um, in the long run. And I want to help women that are in a state of life where you feel a little confused, especially with the hormonal shifts that is taking place. But I'm here to tell you it is not over. I recently have recovered from a back situation, and Lord and behold, it wasn't even what I thought it was. I actually thought I strained my back. I kind of still feel like that, but it really wasn't um, the main factor. What it was stress. I was putting a lot of stress on myself, on my body, and I didn't realize the effect of harboring thoughts that was not conducive to me, my life, etc. And that resonated with it finding its space in my body, which was my back. Everybody has a different way of dealing with stress, right? I assumed because I was being active, uh, these things were, I was basically safe, right? Whatever safe means, but society will have you thinking along terms of having to be quote unquote or look a certain type of way. And that's not necessarily true. You don't have to do anything. The beauty of getting older is wisdom, allowing yourself to take along with you all the things that you learned along the way. And a lot of times we can feel like we have to let go. At least as this is what I was feeling for myself. A lot of times we would feel like we would have to let go of the things that we learned along the way because now we are in a new phase of life. And that is so far from the truth, guys. You don't have to let go. I mean, let go of the things that no longer serve you, obviously. But belief systems, I feel like everything that you learn along the way is gemstones. And I'm going to delve a little deeper into that and doing some extensive deep diving, soul searching for myself, because I had nothing but time, guys. I had nothing but time to find what I needed to let go of and what was working and what was not working for me. And what was not working for me was me thinking that I had to become a whole new person, although that's what was taking place. I feel like, you hear, I know you have heard this phrase where it's like, I've been, people talk about going through the dark night of soul. And I feel like I wasn't going through that. I went through that 2016, and that was a big cosmic shift for me. But I truly believe that even down to our belief systems and how we perceive the creator God. Everybody has their own. I feel like God shows up for everybody the way they need it. And for me, it definitely came in so many different ways. You have heard me talk about goddess energy in the past. Then you have heard me, you saw me. I used to read cards. I no longer do that, at least not on social platforms. And me reclaiming my Christianity. And what does that look like? Now, although I am a believer in God, I just find that a lot of, how can I say, a lot of platforms, a lot of even church institutions will, and rightfully so, they have a certain doctrine, right? Everybody have their own belief systems in terms of what the truth and what the one way is. And for me, although I am a believer, I can't unknow what I knew from the past. I can't unknow something. I can't unknow all the information that I have received, all the downloads I have received before I found myself back, if that makes any sense. I'm going someplace with this. I feel like this is crooked. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I'm sitting. I'm really comfortable right now. So I'm really feeling this setup. I'm just saying. But I'm going somewhere with this. And the reason why, okay, here we go. Okay. The reason why I feel like I am here sharing this with you guys is because I have realized that a lot of people find themselves in different social circles, and it's very easy to feel like, okay, I got to let go all the things that I knew before and I have to become this new person, when that is so far from the truth. And being a woman is a blessing of its own. Nevertheless, when you go through a different change, and I truly believe, or I'm coming to believe, that entering the phase of menopause, getting older, this is another cosmic shift that God has created and planted the seed within us. It's all about transmuting the negative into the positive. I realized once I started allowing myself to change my perspective on how I perceive menopause, how I perceive getting older, I started feeling a sense of lightness. A lightness came over me because, again, we can get really heavy into what we think age looks like, what we think we're supposed to, how we're supposed to act. And you do not, your divinity is your superpower. You being a woman and being blessed to go through the change is a superpower. When you are sweating at night, that is your superpower. And you might be saying, what? I can't sleep. I have insomnia. Nothing is helping. But I'm here to tell you, or I'm here to help you understand that this change is needed. You are paving a path for the younger generation and showing how you ultimately shift into the next stage of your life is your calling, is what you're supposed to do. Even when you find yourself at time, I know for me, when I find myself not being able to sleep and I'm getting frustrated, I truly believe that all this um, is a training frequency, being in between worlds. Think about it. When you were entering the phase of womanhood, you went through that phase. There was a very uncomfortable middle ground before you received your first menstruation. You didn't realize, maybe I'm sure your mother probably, whoever you were living with, you know, knew, your loved ones knew, like, okay, she's entering adolescence and this is what comes with it. But at the time when you were entering adolescence, you had no clue what was going on. You didn't realize how um, everything that you was going through was needed to get to the next stage. And this is no different. This is the time where you ease into it and you surrender. This is when you truly enter your divinity. This is the time where God is truly, I would say, the word is coming up loud, right? Is really loud, is really tough, is really strong, pulling you and easing you into the next phase of your life. This is a beautiful time. And I know we live in a society where it's being told to mask things, take a pill, take this, take that. And I'm not saying, depending on where your health situation, always contact your doctor, you know, but be your first cheerleader. Don't go in blindly into receiving information that, number one, is not conducive to you. Because although Western medicine is really good, I truly believe that God gave us everything that we possibly needed to see every phase through. And one of the reasons why it comes up truly unhealthy, or I should say, it feels very unhealthy and it feels strange and it doesn't feel good, is also because of all the things that we learned along the way. Think about it. We are told, we are coast through adolescence, and then if you're blessed to physically have a child, that's a whole nother lesson that is being taught along the way. There's a lot of support in that area. But once we get to this, I want to say, I'm not even going to use the word final destination, because I don't feel personally there's no final destination, even when we leave these bodies. But once you get to this stage, I just don't, I just feel like there's not enough um, of a support system that is available for us. And that can actually feel very lonely. It could feel very scary. Just all the things you feel. And you're not alone, because I also, at times, feel like that myself. But I make it a point to remember and to remind myself that this time of my life is one of the richest time, if not the most important time. Because think about it, all the things that you went through, all the things that you have seen, all the things that you have learned along the way, it's not to be dashed to the side. It's to be used, right? It's to be cherished. Our bodies are powerful. The fact that we bring human life into the world, the fact that we've been chosen to cultivate a nation, nations, right? Jesus Christ came through a woman in divine intervention. Now that's a whole nother topic, but it's just it just lets you know, no matter how they try to um, put aside the power of a woman, you just can't. Nothing happens without us. Nothing is created without us. Nothing is birthed without us. And this is why we say things like Mother Nature, because the mothering is what brings life into the world. So that's just a little intro for this particular live stream. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. But one of the things that I wanted to give as a tip in order to reclaim and bring back a little bit of cheer, bring back youth into what feels like is being depleted. Number one is changing your mindset. Changing your mindset of all the things that you were taught along the way leading up to this particular phase in life, because a lot of these things has been passed down from a lot of prejudice, a lot of prejudices along the way over the course of time. Prejudice does not go away. It just comes up and it shows itself in a different light. Okay. And back in the day, they would cast women aside. As soon as you were going through the change, they practically said that you were crazy. You were crazy. You needed to go to the G building. You needed to just be put this to side because you no longer have anything to offer. You're no longer fruitful. You're no longer bringing babies into the world. So you know what? Just shrivel up and die somewhere. And I'm not trying to be dark, but I just feel like this is one of the main reasons why a lot of women, we don't have the support system that's needed for us to be journeyed and ushered into this new phase of life. One of the things that helped me tremendously, dietary, I'm specifically talking about, is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has been known to heal so much and even reverse a lot of things that can feel like you need it, like medicine. A lot of things that you are currently going through, intermittent fasting can definitely help with that. There's so much information out there when it comes to intermittent fasting. I'll definitely do a video going deeper into that, but just to touch a little on that, in terms of what does it do, it definitely helps level your hormones. Every time you eat, there's a flux that happens in your digestive system, which also triggers your hormones because everything is coincide together. Everything is working. And it's nothing to be afraid of, because think about it. You've been in these bodies for what? I know for me, I'm approaching 51, and that's a whiles. That's a whiles for the system to constantly be doing its thing. So when you take the liberty to monitor and have your windows in terms of when you're going to start eating, you allow your digestive system to really work and clear out what it needs and what it doesn't need from the day before, right? You give your body rest. This is why they call it break fast. You are breaking your fast. So if you make it a point to break your fast, stretch it longer than need be. And you could start off slow, right? This is not something that you need to jump head. You can, again, check with your doctor, because if you are on any type of medication, I don't I don't know if that may trigger certain things, but I do know for one thing, it is a healing mechanism. For me, I was receiving a lot of hot flashes during the day. I still have them off and on, but they're not as bad. More than likely, they creep up at night. Okay. I'm not saying that it went away, it did not, but I am able to deal better during the day, much better. I would say between I'm high 90s, okay, and that's a lot. So my eating window usually starts at 11, sometimes 12. So, and I usually stop eating around 7, 8 o'clock. So anywhere between, let's just for argument's sake, between 11 and 7, I generally eat anything I want. Now, for me, I eat the same things usually every single day. I usually break my fast with a fruit bowl. Um, I usually drink a lot of water. I do have a cup of coffee. I do have 1 cup of coffee. Some people, studies have showed that coffee can trigger your hot flashes. For me, I no longer take my coffee with any milk. I don't put anything in it. I don't put any sugar, guys. It's just black. And I'm just grateful to have that. So I have 1 cup of coffee a day, and it really doesn't trigger because I don't put sugar, because I realized the sugar was triggering the hot flashes as well. So I don't put any extra anything. I know it may be a little, it is a required taste, but this is the thing about the body. Once you do something and you do it over and over again, your body tends to um, adapt. And this is the beauty about the human body. It will adapt to the new things that you're doing. So I usually just keep it black, keep it, and black coffee is actually the healthiest, right? Now, I'm not a person that cold press, hot press, however they say to do it. I don't do that. But I do make sure to have it black. So that is very helpful. And another tip is making sure you are taking care of yourself, putting yourself together. Again, as women, how you visually see yourself is how you're going to feel internally. And when you are going through these hormonal changes, putting yourself together. Now, I'm not a heavy makeup person. If you are, that is something that is I would continue to do. I do wear makeup every now and then, and when I do wear makeup, it's like really light. Even when I was quote unquote younger, I still wasn't I did wear makeup, but I have always been more of a naturalist. But I do love makeup. If I feel low, there's nothing like putting a fresh face of makeup sitting in front of my vanity. I make it a whole thing. I light a nice scented candle. I might listen to a podcast or something on YouTube, and I quote unquote beat my face. I do that because it makes me feel good. And especially when you are in a changing frequency, you want to be aligned with what you want more of. If you want more abundance in your life, you have to feel good. There's a saying like, money doesn't come where there's strife, right? Because there's no good energy there. So if you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling good about yourself, you just are putting yourself in a frequency of not receiving the things that you want. You have to like really work on your mental space. Another thing is only speaking to people that's gonna make you feel good. Only speaking to people that's going to make you feel good. You may have to abstain from, especially in this tender stage. I would definitely recommend not speaking to anyone that is going to trigger you. You do not need to be around anyone or anybody or anything that's going to plummet your mental space. This is the time where you're like a baby growing, you are in a cocoon. I feel like this is what menopause is. It is a cocoon because you are in a space where you physically, emotionally, spiritually are changing. And that is a very sacred time. That is a very sacred time. And because it's so sacred, you have to handle yourself with kitten gloves. Only doing the things that is going to empower you. Only listening to the things that is going to elevate you. You don't have the time or the space, I feel, for anything that's going to take you out of that. If you have to not listen to certain things anymore, if you have to not go to certain places anymore, if you have to not speak to certain people anymore, so be it. At least for this time in your life where you feel the most vulnerable, because it is a vulnerable space to be in. For me, I am blessed. I handled that a long time ago. And still at this state of time, if I am taking care of me, I don't have time to entertain others that is going to take me away from that particular frequency. I'm working really hard to stay in this space. So why would I entertain anything or anyone that is not going to understand? Because you know what's going on. You have to be in it to win it. If you're not going through it, you're not going to understand. And even with people that are going through, every menopause shows up for everybody differently. It is a lonely road, but it doesn't have to stay like that, which leads me into my next segue, which is working out, going in places where you can be around like-minded people. Now, you can go to yoga, join a gym, get you could even go on YouTube and look up certain yoga sessions that will allow you to ease into your mornings, because easing into your mornings is number one. I don't believe in like just jumping up and just running for the hills. I never been that type of person. I have always been a person that had to ease into my mornings, guys. So nothing has changed. If anything, is even worse. I had to remind myself, because for a hot minute I was waking up really early. I am an early riser still. I was waking up like 4 o'clock in the morning. I know, guys. And I realized that it was doing, in the long run, for me, it started doing a little more harm than good, because if your sleep is being interrupted at night, when you hit that second, when you may need that to catch up on some sleep. So I had to understand that, okay, although I would love to, and sometimes I still do, but if I feel like I am still tired, guess what? I'm not going to get up yet. I'm going to recap that extra half an hour, 15, 20 minutes to make sure that I get the most out of my sleep session. Now, in saying that, I wouldn't suggest staying in bed longer than needed, because then that goes into other things. I know for me, if I oversleep, I don't feel good. It has a polar opposite. So there is that sweet spot. So for me, usually by like 5:36, I'm good. You know, I'm ready to start my day. And when I say start my day, I usually feed my fur babies, light an incense, put on something really just meditative. I get on my yoga mat, I do my stretches, regardless if I'm going to the gym or not, just really easing into the day. Because even with, especially when you are going through menopause, everything that you used to do when you was in your 20s, unfortunately, doesn't really work when you are going through the change. Because this is why a lot of people suffer from, like, they tend to receive a lot of weight in the midsections, because your body is in flight or fight mode. And when you are going through menopause, a lot of women tend to hold weight there. It's just a thing. So to minimize as much as you can, try to do soft moves. Like, that's why they say walking is really therapeutic. Just spending time reading a book, relaxing, doing stretches. It may seem like you're not doing anything, but you're doing a lot, because you're not raising your cortisol. You don't need your hormones to go skyrocketing because you're trying to get on a treadmill and run 100 miles. No, it's not needed. It's not, and it's also not good for your joints. Okay. So these are just a couple of suggestions that I would do, and I have done, and I am still doing, once you are in a particular age range. And I just want to say before I close out that, again, age is nothing but a number. Age is nothing but a number. You truly get better with time. And I don't mean to be a cliche, but it is true. Because with all the information that I have learned along the way, with all the things that I have overcome, you couldn't pay me to go back and start all over again. And this is the beauty. Yeah, you may not look as you did when you were in your 20s, but think about it. What did you know? You was cute, you were younger, but what did you know? Right? Now we have the best of both worlds. We have the ability to glam, we have the ability to color or not color our hair. I do both. We have the ability to put on makeup, we have the ability to shape shift with the knowledge that we have. And that, my friends, is priceless. Guys, be sure to like this video, leave a comment down below. Let me know what part of this particular video struck out, or struck out stuck out to you. And if you have any questions on anything pertaining to what I discussed, because I did kind of like veer off and hit a couple of topics, leave a comment down below, and I definitely will go deeper into that particular question in the future, because I really just want to use my platform going forward. I pretty much always did that, but now that I am in a different phase of my life, it shows up in many different ways. And I definitely want to be of good fruit and give back to the community, because definitely I've been helped, I've been led, and it's only right if I do the same for you guys. Be blessed.